Happy Thursday, everybody. It is 11 o'clock, so that means I'm tuning in here to do a quick live tutorial to show you guys how to use Dixie Mud. My name is Dina. I am co-owner of Re-Claym'd Market in East Bridgewater, Massachusetts. And we started doing this series a little over a month ago, showing you different ways to either use one product or introducing you to some of the products in the line that maybe you haven't thought of using. So because it's kind of yard sale season and flea market season up here, especially in New England, I'm sure it's like that everywhere, I just wanted to give you some tips on how to repair furniture that maybe you would overlook, or little decorative pieces, same type thing, in case you would see something and think, oh, it needs too much work. So last week I showed you some of my actually favorite things to look for at flea markets and yard sales too, I guess, but mostly flea markets. And one of them is the drawers from an old sewing machine, the old ones with the cast iron legs and the cast iron sewing machine. They're awesome like that, but you can also kind of dismantle them and use different pieces of them for different projects. And today I'm working on this one. So I took the other drawers out because I'm not using those today. So I'm going to go ahead and take this one out as well. But what I wanted to show you guys was these are covered with veneer, which is this, look here. It's like a thin wood, so it'll give you the wood grain without having to use a thick piece of wood. That would be more costly. So a lot of times you find these and the veneer is lifting, or it is peeled off, or it's missing. So on the case of like this side, the veneer was lifted so badly that it just pretty much popped right off. So I just removed the whole sheet of veneer on this side, and I have cleaned it with our White Lightning, which is the granular cleaner that we use on all the products. So I mix it up, I spray it according to directions. And then I rinse it with water. I've done that to the whole piece. So this side is sanded, it's ready to paint. This side, the veneer was still pretty much so attached everywhere except for the bottom. So I used not this one, but a little scraper. I used a metal one and got all the loose and missing veneer off of that. And then I used my little mouse sander here. You can also use these sanding blocks, and I sanded it smooth. So this is super attached. It's not lifting anymore, but it's all, gougy. I don't know if you can see the difference in the height. So I'm going to show you today how to repair that, but I've jumped ahead and done the back. So this is the back of the same piece, and I had applied, I used the Dixie Mud in black. Where is it? There it is. And I chose black just so it would show up as a difference on camera. It is available in brown, and it is available in white. It's a completely paintable surface. So a lot of times I will find pieces that the veneer is a mess, and a lot of people will overlook those because your options are to remove all the veneer, replace it, or stain over it or paint over it. But a lot of times I can save it. So this one has already been sanded smooth, like I did here, sanded the edges smooth. I put the Dixie Mud on it. I did this one yesterday because it does take a while to dry. And then I just used a sanding block and a light hand and sanded that smooth. So now this surface is ready to paint. So I'm just going to tilt the camera down and now show you how to apply the Dixie Mud. And again, I'm going to keep using black because I'm going to be painting it anyway. And when this is done, this is going to be a kitchen, like a little wine storage cabinet. I do these a lot with these because I think they're kind of clever, and I think it's cute on a counter. And I had already decided what colors I was going to paint it, but then Dixie Belle went and released some new a new metallic line called Moonshine Metallics. It's going to be available in 5 colors. So now I've decided I think I'm going to put make this a metallic. And I also think I'm going to put some feet on it so it'll be raised up a little bit. So I'll be working on this every Thursday till we get it done, so you can see what you think of it. Next week I'm going to post an like an opinion piece to get your votes to see what color you think I should do it in. In the meantime, I will have put boss on it because this is an old piece and I don't know what it was around. I don't know if there was like tobacco or mildew, anything like that. So I am going to put boss on it to block any potential stains or bleed through that could happen to this piece. And then hopefully next week I will have my shipment in, and I'm going to be painting this one of the metallics. Again, I'm going to post like a vote for your favorite one with pictures of each. So, because I can't decide on the color myself, so you guys can help me out. So this is what the mud, looks like out of the container. This one's been used quite a bit. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to tilt the camera down now so you guys can see how easy it is to repair. I don't have to apply it up here because that doesn't need any fill in. I'm just using it to fill in these spaces and smooth that out. Because if I were, even though I've sanded it, when I go and paint that, you would still see these little jagged lines, and I don't want that. So all I'm doing is I've got quite a bit on my little spatula here, and I'm going to kind of just press it in, paying attention really to these little groovy areas. So the thing about mud is, this is not something you do the day you want to paint. It's best if it can sit up. If I'm using it in this case, I like to let it sit up at least overnight, so it's really good and dry. And then, but if I'm using this as a decorative, a way to embellish a piece, sometimes I'll speed that up with a hair dryer. But in this case, I really don't like to do that. I like to give it a chance to dry thoroughly on its own. Sometimes this can crackle under heat, and I definitely don't want crackling to happen. The other thing that is very important to know about our Dixie Mud product is that it will harden your pipes. So don't ever wash your little spatula or any tools you're using out in the sink. Always keep your baby wipes handy and clean them up that way. I would hate for anybody to rinse this in their sinks and cause major problems. But as you can see, this is really super easy. I mean, it just goes on like spackle pretty much. If anybody's ever done that, filled nail holes. So another way, that's another thing you can use this for, is if you change the hardware out on your cabinets or your dressers or bureaus or anything you're painting, and your new hardware doesn't line up, you can use this to fill in the holes of the old hardware, and then you can just paint right over it. Another way we use this is, I use this, which I think I will when I'm all done with this, just to kind of show you. This is awesome to use with stencils. So you do it the same way. You place your stencil down over your piece, and then you would spackle this over it, spread it over, and then while it's still wet, lift your stencil straight up, and you would have a dimensional stencil lift on your piece that you could then paint. And it's pretty neat to dry brush over those, and using our gilding waxes over those, give it a little shine. So after I get it all covered, I go back and just try to smooth it out a little bit. I don't go crazy because I am going to sand this afterwards. But if you want to make sure that you don't end up having any little valleys after you've done that. And if this was a piece that I was going to paint similar in color, I would have probably used the brown mud instead of the black, but I really wanted this to show up, so I'm going with the black. And it does not have to be painted afterwards, but just be aware that it dries kind of a nice gray color. The white dries white, obviously, and this does not have to be painted afterwards, but for what I'm doing, it will be painted afterwards. So that is all that is needed to do, and I'm going to show you up close so you can see. It's not smooth, but after this dries, and again, I'll wait till tomorrow, I'm just going to hit it with a little sanding sponge, and it will be like this one. You can see that's the dry color there. And then next week when you guys pop back on, hopefully I will have my shipment in, and I am going to be painting this with one of the new metallics. I'm just going to get that off of where I don't want it right now. But now this piece I would consider all repaired, and it's ready to be painted. And then, so this is what I was saying, just grab some baby wipes. I keep cheap baby wipes in my workspace for cleanups, and this is all that's needed to clean this up. You don't even have to take it to the sink. You're all done. Wipes right off. It comes off of your skin, no problem. And I think that's it. I didn't check to see if I had any questions or anything, but if anybody does have any questions, be sure to drop them in the comments, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. And I said that is it for the prep work on this piece now. So this side I just have to let dry. This side's already dried and sanded. This side was completely removed and sanded, and the front was pretty good. There was no real damage. There was some interior veneer lifting, but I was able to lift that up enough and put in some wood glue and clamp it. So now it's all secure and ready, and I really can't wait for you guys to see what this is when it's done, because it's so cute. And I will waiting on my new metallics to come in. They have a cute name, Moonshine Metallics. You wouldn't expect anything different from Dixie Belle, I guess. So that was it today. Super short, super quick. If you have any questions, and I will in coming weeks show you other ways to use the mud, but for now I was just using it to repair. If you would like to see this again, you're always available to watch it as replay, or later today it will be on our YouTube channel, which is just Re-Claym'd Market on YouTube, and I will try to post a link to that as well. Thank you so much for tuning in, and next week hopefully we'll be using the new metallic line if my shipment gets here, which I think it will. And I will see you all soon. Thanks for tuning in.